All right, guys, weekly forecast for Sunday, November 18th, 2018. Now, I haven't done one of these weekly forecasts in a while, so I felt kind of overdue to do one. And this is probably going to be in two parts. We're going to start with all of the bullish symbols among the 28 standard pairs, and then we're going to go with the bearish ones. And we just so happen to have 14, I believe, 14 bullish pairs and 14 bearish ones. So yeah, we should get some pretty even time videos here. So we're going to start with the strongest bullish, and then go to weakest, and then same for bearish. In the next video, we'll start with strongest bearish and go to weakest. All right, so the strongest is AU, which we're on right now, Aussie USD. We're on the 4-hour chart. Basically, we opened well before there's a little down gap here, but it closed pretty much right at its high, which means that we have a very high chance of breaking out of that previous high, last week's high, that is. I mean, if you consider it closing at the high, then that's you. I mean, statistically, you've got roughly 100% chance of breaking that high. I mean, it happens almost all the time when you close at a high. So we did gap down, but I'm expecting it to bounce off this turncoat support and break that high. But we'll just have to see. Anyway, so I am bullish on that as well as Aussie Canadian. So let's just go there. Okay, let's see what this one looks like. All right, once again, the same as Aussie USD, we've been in an uptrend, as you can see here by the OMA. Once again, a down gap closed near the high last week. Price is just moving down for the moment, but I am expecting it more of the same thing. All right, I don't really think that it's going to pull back very far. Just to kind of get an idea, if we throw fractals on, you can see that the nearest support fractal is here. As far as turncoat support, like resistance fractals that are now support, I mean, I suppose you can consider this one here right around like 96.13-ish, and then you've got a few here. All right. I really don't think it's going to go, I don't even think it's going to go that far, to be honest. Ichimoku is near or the Kijun line is near the OMA. All right. I'm really thinking more about the price action channel, PAC. I'm thinking it kind of stays in there. So really the lowest I'd probably expect it to get maybe around like, I don't know, maybe 95, 75 at the lowest, but probably right around that 9600 sweet spot. All right. I don't think it's going to get too low. All right. And the same kind of concept applies for some of these Aussie pairs. All right. This one closed in 98% of its previous weekly high. So roughly statistically a 98% chance of breaking the previous week's high. Okay. AU closed at 100, AC closed at 98. I actually went out of order. Let's go to NU, which closed at 99. Okay, more of the same thing. Getting a little retraced into this turncoat support, hoping it fills that gap, breaks that previous week's high. More of the same thing. I don't really think it's going to get too low. Maybe probe this, the PAC, and maybe probe the OMA. Ichimoku is around the same area there as well. If we throw on the weekly pivots, let's see where our weekly pivot is. Yeah, weekly pivot's right there. It could probe the weekly pivot. Let's go back to the daily pivot. It's already probed the daily pivot. Okay, so maybe probe that weekly pivot and that daily S38 pivot fib as well. All right, so I'm just going to throw those off. Let's move on to EU, closed at 98, previous week's high. Okay, yeah, see, this has a little bit more space to go until I get to that price action channel. All right, but I do have, it's looking pretty bullish to me. TDI is overbought. It's going to leave that zone, retrace, and hopefully before coming back, resuming its bullish trend. Okay, more of the same thing. Let's go to EG. All right. It's once again kind of more of the same thing. All right. EG closed at 98 as well. It's staying above that monthly open. That's really the key. As long as it stays above that monthly open, if it probes the monthly open and kind of starts a downtrend, then the bias will change. But for now, we're very bullish on it. All right. I don't think it's gonna retrace too far. Very strong bull spike here. Let's yeah, this fractal right here, right at that OMA. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna go too much lower than that. You know, it might wick below that monthly open, but I don't know. It's looking bullish to me. It's very overbought though, but we will see. All right, moving on to really let me just reiterate that the way that I'm formatting the forecast for this week is really just about previous week high and low breakouts. Okay, so I'm not necessarily forecasting that it's going to continue like a huge uptrend. Really, just that it's going to break the previous week's high, which is right here. All right, pretty much just there. It'll break that, maybe get to this this resistance area, and then I'm not really sure. But I mean, there are pips to be made on that as well as these other ones, okay? And the ones I'm about to forecast, all right? So next we've got NC. All right, NC closed at 96. Okay, now NC is getting a little, it's kind of hyperextending a little bit for this month, okay? If we click the let's click the fibs off. Let's click the monthly ATR. You'll see that it's at like it's past the 15% range. So there really isn't too much further it can really go. Yes, I am thinking it'll break out of the previous week's high because there is statistically a 96% chance, roughly. But I don't think it'll go too much further than that because it's pretty hyperextended for this month. All right, even if we throw on the monthly fibs, all right, already at 161. If it, when it breaks that previous week, so that's a pretty extreme reversal area. All right, so I would, just scalp the top of that, but yeah, I wouldn't be looking for any huge moves remaining on that pair. All right, it's a matter of fact, that's how it is with a few more of these pairs. Okay. So be looking out for that ATR. All right. Let's throw the ATR off as well. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Okay. Next up, we have NF. Okay. Monthly fibs on this one. Yeah, still pretty hyperextended near that 161 for the month. If we throw on the ATR right at that 25% range, yeah, not really too much further it can go. Probably this 0.69 area. All right, it closed at 93, 93% chance of breaking that high. All right, I keep doing that. Next up, NJ. All these Kiwi pairs. Okay, NJ closed at 93 as well. And we are hyperextended, but not quite as much with NJ. All right, 25% of the, it's still is very hyperextended though. So I would use caution with these last few Kiwi pairs I've gone over. All right, moving on. AF. AF closed at 91. Okay. 138 pivot for the month. But still lots of space to go monthly ATR wise. Okay, so there's no reason to think that it won't, over the course of the month that it wouldn't get up to this 0.74 area or possibly higher. I really wouldn't start worrying until this 0.74 area. Okay, from a TA standpoint. All right, moving on to AJ. AJ closed out 89. All right. Only around the 61. I mean, got this resistance here. Still plenty of room to go ATR wise. All right, I'm not thinking it will really retrace too far. All right, the OMA is pretty tight, as is Ichimoku, Kijun line. Yeah, fractals. Let's see. Got a couple here. Yeah, I'm not really thinking it gets too far past that 82, if even that. All right, we'll see though. HMA is probably forecasting, yes, flat, because we are in a tight range here with this resistance and this support. Okay, but once it breaks out of the previous week's high, I mean, that's really when you look to enter, and then that's when it would break out of that range. Okay, so be cautious before that breakout. All right, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a bit of BB squeeze action going on too. Let's see. Yeah, sure enough, there is. We're in a squeeze. All right, so be cautious with that one. Moving on. We've got, by the way, AJ was at 89, if I didn't already say that. Next is EC, closed at 88. All right, EC. Okay, we are not overextended at all as far as monthly pivots go. And as far as range, not at all. We've just been going sideways this month with EC. Okay, I'm not thinking we really retrace too far. Probably not far past the 1.495 area. All right, we are in a squeeze. Well, looks like we're trying to come out of one. All right, so yeah, I don't think we really have too far to go with this one. I mean, we have been going sideways, but I'm looking at this area right here, 1.49, 1.495. All right, next is EF, closed at 79. Okay. Not hyperextended. Not at all. Not at all. Quite a ways to move with this one. And yeah, not too much space. I don't really think it's going to pull back too far. We'll see. 1.1375 and a little higher, that area. All right, next up, we only have a couple more, which is good because I'm running out of time. We've got EJ, which closed at 74. All right. That means a 74% chance of breaking the previous week's high, which is right here. All right, and we're right at that monthly pivot. All right, still above the monthly open. All right. By the way, all of these should be above. They should all be above their monthly open. It's kind of just a rule of thumb of mine. All right, Chinoku and OMA right in that area. Okay. Yeah. And the last one, closing at 55. So this one is just right down the middle. All right, this is the only one that's kind of like this, is FJ. All right, and it's right at that weekly pivot, below the monthly pivot, above the open. Yeah, that's about it. So this one could be a little choppy. yeah, that's about it, guys. On to the next one.